Do this. Welcome to Black, Red, and Blue fancast. This is AJ, and I'm joined today with Steve, and we're going to talk about this pretty darn good game, if you ask me. Way, way better than last week. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, did we get a win? Can we do that still? I think we got.
Just maybe we squeaked one out.
Yeah, those 3 points are a lot better than 2 point or 1 point. I agree with that.
So actually, I didn't see Reddit the fridge. Where are we at?
We are. I want to say in that ninth spot now. We are directly above Sporting, and then we're right there. Like we're almost above that line, but we moved up two spots, and we're right on the cusp. So it's looking really good right now.
Yeah. So this game was much, much more exciting. Now, for me, it was personally exciting because I got to bring my mother to the game. It was the first time that she's been down to the stadium, so she got to see the new facilities, got to hear the crowd. There's something different about the feel for sure, you know. So I definitely I was sitting on the side where St. Louis attacked in the second half, which was nice because then I got to see the Kloss goal and actually took a video of it, which was kind of fun. So I think by far the biggest thing is the number of shots on goal, right? Our attack actually looked really good and our defense was great. What do you think was the thing that made this game so much better than the last game? Was it lineup? Was it tactics?
We came out with the same kind of formation, but I mean, I think Vasilev being there and that 10 feeding Kloss the ball, like I even commented that in the previous game, it really appeared as though they were pressing every shot. They took 27 shots, but like every single one seemed manic. Everyone seemed like it had to go in. And this way they were able to kind of just like pick apart the defense throughout the game. And watching it at home, it just was constant. I think we commented that this was a vintage for a team that's less than 2 years old, a vintage City performance where you could just see that the press was on and they looked sharp, they looked good, and it was exciting to see that shot that Kloss wound up making. You know, that was a quintessential Kloss shot where it's almost like it was an afterthought, and he's just got his big body there and just kicks it, just kind of side foots it right in. But because of that positioning, the constant putting the press on them, and constantly having decent passes, and just, you know, I don't know how much more creative Carnell was than the previous game. I just think it worked. I think we had the right people there. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I can't remember if we talked about this in the podcast or if we were texting about it throughout the week. But one of the things I think we said is that St. Louis needed to be more vertical. Like, I felt like most of the attack was us trying to walk into the box and try to do short little passes to try to make something happen. This time, it felt much more of a faster pace attacking of the net, which is St. Louis's style. That's where we really excelled. It's almost like a controlled chaos heading into the box, but vertically. And I felt like they did that more, especially, like you said, with Indy.
Yeah, I think what we saw in the last couple of games was it's almost like when they got to that final third, it seemed like everyone was trying to do everything. No one had roles. It was almost like watching little kids play soccer where it's like everyone just attacks the ball. Everyone just wants to be in one place at one time. And that may have been because we went 5 games without a win. And it seemed like we just could not get a good feel for our own style. And I seem like whatever they did this week in practice set up the team for success. And they really were able to get back to those roles, get back to everyone has a job. Everyone has a specific role on this team. Felt a lot better about this game, even though it was 1-0. You know, I got back to that feel where it's like, oh yeah, we're going to win this match. We're going to win this match. And in fact, my wife and I went to yoga for I didn't even see the last 30 minutes. I was following it while I was trying to do yoga. I was like, you know, trying to get my Zen on while I was checking my phone. I was like, but like, it felt comfortable. You know, that Dallas game felt stressful. The RSL game, of course, was stressful. You know, that Driussi he's always there, but our defense shut that cat down. Shut the whole team down. Like, you have the stat. How many shots did Austin actually have off the entire time, the entire match?
They had 2 shots. What?
Yeah,
Holy moly. Only 2, and we had 11 shots. Holy moly. That's huge.
that's
Right?
really huge. And
Great defense, great offense.
yes, and it was just, I think we keep kind of coming back where it was like a classic City match, and it all just kind of clicked, and I felt good about this game the entire time. Even the shots that were missed was like, those are good shots. Those are good shots.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the one area that a couple areas that we're still seeing Leuven's presence not there, the long passes and the corners still. The corners were our bread and butter last year. It seemed like every time there was a corner, you kind of figured there was going to be at least a good shot, and we've been missing that. And that's, the people on Reddit were kind of commenting it too, where it's like you've got Vasilev and Pompeo just kind of teaming up on a lot of these corners, and really nothing's been really happening since Leuven's been out. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Now, that a lot of people are probably going to remind us that even in the second half of last year, Leuven seemed like he was losing a lot of his set piece ability, but it seems like none of them have a good handle on it. I just don't know if that's a coaching thing, if it's a player thing. I don't know. Like, it just, something is weird going on, and I just don't know what it is. Now,
for me, it just kind of seems like it's a skill set that Leuven has the ability, and we got some players too that are able to just put those balls right where they need to be from the corner. It's just like it's like throwing a strike. It's like passing a football, where it's like some cats can just do it easier than others, and it really seems like it's just an easy thing for Leuven to. He just, in muscle memory, just boop, pop it right where it needs to go, which was really neat to see.
I think we have to talk about our other designated player. Now, the one thing I have to say first, though, is that sports fans, we tend to be very outcome oriented, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if it's baseball and a player hits a home run, we're automatically giving them a gold star. We're all about that offensive production, right? Same thing for football or soccer. It doesn't matter, Now, the thing is if you watch Klaus's game, take away his goal, I would still argue that he could have been the man of the match. And here's why. If you watched him, and I guess Indy might take it in that case, but he definitely competes. If you watch that game, Klaus made so many good moves. He had great chances at goal, especially the one he actually scored on, but also defensively. Like, it was at the very beginning of the game. I don't know if you remember, Klaus did that weird kind of like scissor kick jump right in front of the goalie.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning of the game, the disrupt. There was also one that was on in the second half that Klaus actually went for the goalie when he couldn't pick it up, right, because of backwards pass. And Klaus, I thought he might have been able to steal that from him. And there was also a couple times where you saw Klaus like sprint down the field in defense. Just a lot of that defensive plays that really makes a difference. And I know traditionally, like, striker, you're thinking all about offense, but again, that's what I'm saying about this whole outcomes based thing.
Looking at his FOT mob on defense, he had 2 tackles, he had 2 clearances, 2 headed clearances, and 2 recoveries. He won the duels that he was a part of. He was fouled. He only had 1 foul. So, like, to what you're saying, like, on the defensive side, he was solid as well. It's just a different match once you have your main stars feeling it, like feeling more confident, and they can go out there and do it. It was really impressive to see, like, the whole team as a whole.
I agree. Now, a lot of people, the whole Sam situation. What is going on with that? Do you have any guesses? I do, but
I think since it was a coach's choice, he was pulled, just seemingly out of nowhere, that he clearly must have said something to aggravate Carnell or Lutz. he could have done one or the other
That's
that
true.
made it more about him than the team. But I was listening to some other pods. I think it was maybe it wasn't Flyover Footy, it may have been Ball Watching, where they mentioned that like all of the transfer windows overseas are all closed right now. So if he wants out, like that opportunity he had a couple weeks ago, that's gone, and he's going to have to wait, and it's going to have to be a better team unless there's a chance to be traded within the MLS. And I can't imagine St. Louis trading this guy within the MLS right now, not with as valuable as he is. Especially with all the new transfer money, the transfer rules coming in that we're going to get for him.
True.
He's worth so much more somewhere else than within the MLS. So I mean, that's just my like it. I didn't even notice it at first until I was looking at comments, and then there people were like, "Where's Sam? Why isn't Sam on the thing?" And I looked myself, and someone else had said that he was on the Apple lineup, but no. And I checked FotMob and I checked MLS. He was nowhere else. So like the way Carnell, listen, like you and I listened to sports our whole life. Baseball managers, hockey managers, when they say things like, "I only want to talk about the players that are here." That to me,
Yeah.
that triggers something inside like, yikes, like he doesn't want to be here. And that's almost a message to the player where it's like, you're not worth me
Hmm.
talking about right now. So that's kind of just picking up a little bit what I thought when I see that's kind of what I'm thinking. What about you?
I agree with everything you said. I mean, there's definitely issue. This isn't injury. This isn't something else. Unless there was something like really bad happened personally, like somebody passed away or something like that.
Yeah.
But usually, like you said, the coach says something like, "There's a personal matter. We're going to respect this, time and space, something like that." But this
Yeah.
was more like, "No, we're going to talk about these other players. We're not going to worry about that." And don't get me wrong, like everybody who's listening to this podcast today and previous ones, we've always been saying that probably Klaus is the better striker for this system. That is
Mm-hmm.
not discounting Sam at all. He is amazing one on one. There is no doubt about it, right? Like when he's winning his one on one matchups, he could easily score two in a game. Easily. Like he's got a great foot and everything. But if the other team's able to clog him up, he's basically a wasted player on the field, to be honest.
I did see some comments that, and I don't know, I don't really know what to think. Someone has said like he's not a great passer and like he just kind of charges too hard. Like I thought that to me, like his ability to charge and then collect a pass, like was his best thing. Where it's like when I think of Sam, I think it's just giant person running down the field, collecting a pass and putting off a shot. Like I guess I never really considered him passing the ball to others. What do you think about somebody saying like he is obviously not a good passer, where you have Kloss being a fantastic passer?
Yeah, I definitely had said that somewhere on Reddit as well about the passing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he's exactly what you described, right? Like if you have a team that has like a 4-2-3-1, but in the system where everybody's just passing to one guy and putting all their faith and hopes onto that one guy, I think Adeniran's perfect for you, right? But City's a little bit more spread out. It's a little bit more of like the team DP kind of model, but it's a little bit more than that, right? Like even if you look at the shots on goal, right, all 11, they weren't all Klaus, right? I think maybe like 4 of them were Klaus. That means
Yeah,
there was another, what, 7 that were somebody else. So I don't know. I agree with that, and I was trying to see if there was anything about his passing here, but I don't really see too terribly much here. I know he's got a low touch rate percentage. Yeah, it's unfortunate, It does make the sting of Gio leaving a
I
bit
know,
more
man.
bitter, to be honest, right? Because in some ways you kind of wish that we kept Gio because at least he worked well with Klaus, to be honest. Oh man, could you imagine running the 4-4-2 with those two cats again?
Man, don't. It hurts. What's
I
even
know.
worse about that whole thing is my dude never even plays. Nico's basically. I've watched most of the matches this year, and Nico has almost no time on because he doesn't need to. The
Oh, that
team is
sucks.
pretty good, and it's like let him come back home.
I don't know. Did you see his Instagram?
No, I
Gio
didn't.
was actually watching the City game.
No way.
Yeah, he posted about that. So a little part of him still here.
Yeah. He's played in 7 matches this year. He's only started one, and he's got 169 minutes total. Yeah,
Oh man.
he's a late sub. That's all they do. But they're in second place right now, so they could be promoted, which is good. Oh, so what was it like there during the day? Like I've been to three now city matches at night. I've been to the San Jose game last year. I went to the playoff game last year, and I went to the CONCACAF game this year. All at night. The environment was crazy because of all the lighting, and the drums were insane, and it was kind of cooler. But I've been to City 2 matches, and it's a different environment, of course, because there's
Mm-hmm.
a, an eighth of the crowd there. So, like, what was it like being there during the day? Like, I heard the ball watching, one of the guys that was there saying he saw a lot more families there, and they wish that we could have more of these matches like this. What do you think? Because I was interested in that experience because, like, I'm telling you, like, we're going, my buddy and I, we're going to Kansas City next week. I got $32 tickets. I couldn't pass them up. And my wife was going out of town yesterday, and I saw a supporter section ticket for $40 for yesterday's game. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to pick that up, but I couldn't justify it. So, like, for all of us poor schmucks that couldn't make it, help us experience this.
Yeah, so I've been to 3 games now. I was at the season opener last year, so just the club opening period, which was amazing.
Oh yeah,
At that point, they only knew one chant, "Oh St. Louis City," and it was just constant, right? Everybody's standing, everybody's rowdy. It was amazing, right? Like it's hard to beat that. The second game I went to was the Open Cup. I know everybody's gonna cry on that. The Open Cup, which is kind of sad. I know the Open Cup game, but that's kind of like City like 1.5 because you had some starters, but some
yeah.
City 2 type
It was
players.
really
So it's like
rotated. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then this game. Now I will say though, I felt like it was a little less rowdy. It actually seemed like it got a little quiet. I'm not saying it got quiet, but it a little bit more demuted. I I did see a lot of people are like, okay, is there tons of people standing? Like that's a big complaint on Facebook, right?
Yes.
People standing, people standing. Well, guess what? Nobody was standing in the 200 level, right?
Right.
Nobody, right? The 100 level, because it was so hot, there was actually some people sitting down too. So it definitely did have a different vibe. It felt a little bit more relaxed too. And I don't know if it was just the nature of the game that we were watching and stuff like that, but I would say like if I personally had to pick, I kind of like the night games because you do have the
Okay.
flashing lights, you do have a little bit more rowdy. People aren't trying to hydrate and whatever. It's just like one giant party.
Right. Did you see many Yeti cups?
Oh jeez, I heard a lot of comments, a lot of
Did
comments.
you really? There? Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
like people are joking, making fun of it and stuff like that. I mean, if you're a season ticket holder and you're getting drinks, like it's what, $80, right? A
Yeah.
Yeti cup normally is like $40, $30 anyways. So if you go to 5 games, the drinks are like $10 anyways. So
Yeah.
you actually
No,
win
yeah.
out. But for those who don't have the season tickets, like you and I don't think it's worth it. So a lot of people were making jokes about stuff like that. I mean,
Okay. Well, and one thing
go
is like
figure.
it's only for this year. Like you won't be
Oh
able
yeah,
to
that's
bring it
true
in
too.
next year, which is kind of bananas. But I mean, I gotta tell you, it's a cool cup. It looks like it looks ice cold with the white and like the you can see the chrome through the logo. It's at $80 worth. I don't think so, but like let's leave it there because it's a hot topic, as the kids say. Do you
So
wanna?
you're
You wanna? I know
you're
we didn't
going to
discuss
root
it. Do you want to
Kansas
try
City,
lineups
right?
for next week? Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
we're going. It's going to be wild.
I was just about to say, you're going to go to Kansas City. So I was just about to ask you actually, what would you, if you were BC, right? What would you be doing next week?
Okay, so I actually paid attention to Kansas City when they played Miami because I'm going there. We're not going to Arrowhead, but like we're playing them. And from what I have noticed, Vermees plays the 4-3-3. Yeah, 4-3-3 almost as much as we did like the 4-4-2 last year. And last week they didn't run the 4-3-3 because of a little guy called the goat was in, and I guess they have to play differently. So I've been looking like, what do you do to combat a 4-3-3? And you know what I found? The 4-4-2. So I was looking, if we were to put out a 4-4-2, as long as Sam is on the team and happy, I think we should probably run a 4-4-2. So what I'm thinking is, of course, Berkey and net. And then since hopefully we've got our guys healthy again, we're going to have Nilsson, Parker, Hebert, Mechanic on the back line. I'm thinking in that order. In the next line, Durkin, Ostrak, Leuven, and Celio, and not in that order. I'm not really sure what order to put those in, but I think those are the two. And then Klaus. And then if Sam is some reason like a healthy scratch, so a Klaus and Sam or a Klaus and Thor. Put them out there and let's see what happens. That's if we run the 4-4-2 against the 4-3-3. That's what I'm thinking. What do you think?
Yeah, so this is the age-old question, right? So, like, good teams don't change their tactics, and they make teams beat them. And lesser teams change their tactics to try to beat a superior team.
I dig it.
I think based on this last game, I think if we ran out the 4-2-3-1 and basically kept this lineup as is, right? Maybe take Hebert out, which I thought he did a great job, but just history dictates that Nilsson's better, right? And you keep this same lineup, I think we give Kansas City a run for their money. I don't think a 4-4-2, especially if we do a diamond, isn't bad. I don't know Kansas City very well, but if they have a poor midfield, then maybe a 4-4-2 diamond might really help try to punch through that. It just kind of depends. Or a traditional 4-4-2 if we're trying to guard the wings more. I don't know. It's kind of tough. I think the big thing that hinders on the 4-4-2 is the Sam thing. And I just don't see
that's
it.
What I'm thinking.
Because if he's kind of sour, the question is did he learn his lesson or did he not? I don't know. Thor is one of those guys that sometimes you just see the flashes. He seems like he's getting to the right place at the right time, but he just kind of misses the finishing. It's a good question.
So
if you want to be crazy,
what's that?
Oh, I said if you want to be crazy, have the back line. Then in the midfield, have the Durkin, Ostrak / Leuven, depending if he's ready, and then on the right wing, and then actually put Klaus and Pompeo up top.
That would probably get closer to that Klaus Nico kind of connection we had last year. Celio is such a good passer that if we can make that happen, that would work. But so let's go with since I put it out there, I'll predict we're going to go with the 4-4-2 only because that's my ignorant kind of thinking of this is how we're going to beat the 4-3-3. I guess I'll go the Ted Lasso route where we're just scrambling to try to find something. And I like your thinking where good teams that are rocking and rolling, they don't change things. We're out the 4-2-3-1. I like the 4-2-3-1. I love it. I think it looks exciting when you're watching it. I hope you're right. I hope that things are so confident that we're like, this is going to be the lineup that's going to win this match. Boy, I am really excited about going. So my buddy, I think I've mentioned it, he's not into soccer. He's the prototypical casual sports fan. He's my age and he's never really followed sports. And he knows how kind of crazy I am for this team. And he came over here for the Super Bowl and I showed him all of my soccer stuff that I have down here in my workout room. I've got a whole wall dedicated to city stuff. And nice. I gave him one of my scarves and I was like, here, you need to have one of these so you can experience this. And I said, we can't afford to go to the games here, but they're playing in Kansas City and tickets are always like $40-$50. I think we can make it. Let's go. And I totally forgot about it. My man texted me Saturday and said, are we still going next week? And I almost dropped my phone because I was like, oh, he wants to go still. And so I immediately checked tickets for $32. And I text him like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? We are driving. And he's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. And he's like, I want my 17-year-old to go too because I can't get him out of the house. I'm like, bro, road trip. And we're going to leave my house at noon on Saturday, drive the 4 hours to Kansas City, woot, woot, woot for a couple hours, and then drive the 4 hours back home. Like, we are doing this in one damn day. But we are so excited to go out there. And I want to see us just take over Children's Miracle, Children's Mercy, whatever the hell it's called. Paint that whole, make that city west. Let's get out there and get that win. I think it'll be wild. Because we're in a good position already. Now we're right above them on the table. Let's set them up. They're devastated. They're devastated. They just had Messi come in and score a goal on them, and they lost that match. 72,000 people went home sad as shit. Now we get to go in there, and we are going to beat them again. Go City. It's good to have a win, and let's keep it going. Let's keep this train rolling. I want to climb up the fridge. Yeah, let's just keep going up the fridge. Let's keep this momentum going. BRB Fancast on all the socials. Hit them up, and you'll see us on Reddit or on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram. BRB Fancast, baby.
All right, go City.
All right, thanks, man.